What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Gains podcast. I'm Amber P.
I'm Alexis Nicole.
And since we are in that season where all the national shows are ramping up, that's what our topic is going to be on today. We're going to dive into, things to expect for a first time national athlete. And then if you've been doing it for a little bit, just some other things to keep in mind, things to keep you just motivated and your mindset sharp. However, Alexis, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm better rested today than I have been. Amber and I talked about this already, but we're getting too old to stay up late.
Yeah, no, I have never been a girly who could thrive off a little bit of sleep. That was as a teenager, girl in my 20s. It's just, mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope. Like, whenever you're like, yeah, I can thrive off of 5 and 6 hours of sleep, I'm like, that's not a flex. That's gonna hurt you.
No, I felt I could survive on 4. Now, 3 days of 4 in a row, then I'd start feeling a little rough. Um, but one night of little sleep hasn't been an issue for me in the past. But there's been a couple days the last couple weeks where I'm like, why am I so tired? And then I check my watch and it's because I got 6 hours of sleep. And I'm like, that's plenty of sleep. But the feedback is otherwise. So last
Hmm.
night I got 7.5 and I feel much better.
Yeah, it's just like I don't like the person I am when I don't get enough sleep. And I'm like very aware, very vocal. Even Marilla, if I start acting a little crazy, he'll tell me, go take a nap. Like I'm a toddler.
See, my problem is I'm not a very good napper. I usually wake up crankier
Yeah.
or I just lay there thinking about the things I should be doing, and I don't like to take naps. You know I'm tired if I've napped. Um, so then I just kind of screw myself if I don't get enough sleep because then I'm like can't catch up until I try again the next night.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like napping. However, I do like that whenever I take a nap, I'm just better mentally and emotionally. So I just have to remind myself of that. Like, you might not like it. However, this is going to be beneficial. Have you announced that you've started prep yet?
No, because we're kind of easing into it.
Okay,
Everyone when you start a prep, everyone wants to know what show you're doing, and that's not concrete yet. So, um,
I get it.
but we've started dieting. The goal is to be the leanest I have ever been and then get on stage. So whatever the timeline becomes of that is what the plan is. Um, but plan to compete again this season. So far, I'm responding well. Boss added cardio this morning, which is nice because I asked for it last check-in. He said no. Um, so things are rolling, and I will update you when there is more of a plan than that. But the plan is to get on stage again.
Fantastic. I'm like, I think I'm on week 11 or 12 of prep. And I'm just like, physically I'm fine, mentally I'm over it. That's just where I'm at. Mentally I'm just over it because it's like I've been the same weight for weeks on end now. I'm just kind of like, you know what, whatever. Like I told Murillo yesterday, it's like I do not care anymore. And he was like, what? And I was like, hear me clear, hear my heart. When I say I don't care, I'm not saying I don't care about prep or what I'm doing. I don't care to give that part of prep anymore of my emotional energy because it's just freaking draining and it does not serve me. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna follow the plan, but I'm just like, I just can't because there's no point. It doesn't help. So that's what we got going on. Once something happens, I'll let y'all know.
um, so we just started, it's been a week, so nothing crazy. Um, and we also just started our travel shenanigans again. So, um, 2 weekends ago, I was in Roanoke for my friend's child's birthday party. Last weekend, we were in Graham, Texas for a gym opening. This weekend, not too much travel. We're just in it's like an hour-ish from us, for the Houston for the, Branch Warren. Martin has a guest posing next weekend. I think we go to Missouri. Weekend after that, Jersey for Universe, and then I feel like there's something after that. Martin said, "No."
Mhm. He put it
So we've got a lot of shenanigans, um, the last couple weeks and the next couple weeks coming up. So travel is in full swing. Keeping the schedule organized is quite important, and it makes the days go faster.
Yeah. I have no travel. Only travel I have is universe. So I'm at the crib where I need to be. Exactly where I need to be. I don't need to add
I've been
any
there
more.
for like a month or like a month and a half, and yeah, I guess that was our rest up time because that's usually there's more travel than that. So it was a good like 6 weeks of not having to go anywhere, and then we're making up for it now with going somewhere every weekend.
Yep, yep, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Yep. And I don't even feel like anxious about going anywhere because I'm like, no, bro, you need to be home. You need to lock in, just like stay exactly where you're at. So you do all the traveling for me. All right, y'all. So let's see. We had junior USAs already. I was honestly very shocked for the junior USAs. I think I told you because I know the times that you and I, when we did it, it was just like people everywhere swarming. Even I can honestly say 24 and 2025. Yeah, last year and year before, like it was so crowded and packed. When I got there, it was as if nothing was happening. It was the most ironic thing. So that was a little perplexing, but I know I ran into a couple of girls where it was their first time. And I think the best thing you can do when it is your first time hitting the national stage is to just not put unnecessary pressure on yourself because you don't know what to expect just yet. And you're honestly not even going to be able to have any true data until it's done. You know what I mean? I think sometimes
Yeah.
we get so far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I think, well, so one thing I was gonna say as far as like there are typically some staples that you can expect just by it being a national level show. And that doesn't come down to like your placing at all, but just how things are run. They run the same as a regular show, just on larger scale. Um, Now that's to combat with Amber saying that there weren't a ton of competitors and like fans in the audience. But I think that is honestly, I think it's the junior shows, the culture is a little bit different. Back in the day, junior shows were used as like a stepping stone to see if you were ready for the larger size national level shows. Um, we've said before, like junior USA, junior nationals don't even give cards to open women's bodybuilding and men's bodybuilding. They're not they're not pro qualifiers for those divisions, because they were like a if you could think about it in a tiered sense, they're like the first tier of national level shows. Um, and they give less cards overall. So even for bikini, I think it's what top 4 in the overall, and that's out of 8 classes. Wellness, I think, is top 3 in the overall still, and that's out of 4 classes. So, um, they give the fewest amount of cards, and I honestly think with the, like, instant gratification culture, people just don't wanna do those shows. They're like, "There's less of a chance, there's not 2 cards per class, so I'm gonna wait until this show that gives more cards." And I think what we'll see, because it played out that way the last couple years, from what I've seen, and junior nationals is next up, what, this weekend?
Mhm.
And that's 1 card per class, except for women and men's open bodybuilding. They still don't get a card because it's a junior show. Um, and then you have Universe 2 weeks later, and that's gives 2 cards per class in the open divisions for most of the divisions. Um, and then that kind of rolls on as we continue the national level circuit. And so people will tend to wait. Junior nationals will be larger, one, because there's more cards, and two, because it's right before Universe and USA's. So people will use it since the timing makes sense as far as like peaking back to back. But that's my personal opinion on that. The majority of competitors, I would say, want a card now. A lot of new, yeah, like earlier 20s competitors think that you turn pro on your first or second national level show, um, which is not the expectation that you should have,
Mhm.
especially with the added class of fit model. All of the divisions, bikini, fit model, and wellness, are like currently in real time evolving as the season goes on. Um, so bringing your best package does not mean you're winning. And the goal is to always bring a better package than the last time that you got on stage. But especially if it's your first time, you have no idea how your physique matches up to the other national level qualified physiques. It's just like
And
doing your per debut, but on a lower scale.
yeah, and I think this is not to be shady at all. Like, y'all know me. You can tell when I'm trying to be shady. This is not to be shady whatsoever, but this is why I think it is very, like, I don't like in other federations how you can compete, do your first show, and then become a pro. In my mind, I'm like, how, in order to be a professional, you need to have actually spent time doing the thing. How are you a professional and you've only done it once?
Yeah, I think
I think that's bizarre.
there's there should be a level of prestige that comes with the fact that you kind of have to work your way up.
Yeah.
Um, and that's really just working your way up in knowledge and knowing how your physique
Yes.
responds, in building the muscle, spending the time to build the physique that's worthy of whatever you're going after. Um, and out of the first time competitors that are stepping on the national stage, national level, okay, let's rewind. Let's just get that out of the bud because that is a pet peeve of mine. Nationals is in December in Dallas.
Well, that
All the
don't
other
even
ones are not called
my
that.
nerves anymore. I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, what month is your show? Because people just ain't gonna get it.
And if you're competing before December, you're not doing nationals.
Oh my gosh.
So, um, but for the first time competitors getting on the pro qualifying stage, most of you are not going to be first call out. A lot of you are not going to be second call out. And that's just the reality. You will see someone in the top 5 in some of the divisions where it's their first time stepping on a national level stage. 99% of the time, they didn't just start lifting this season. They didn't start lifting last season, in training to build muscle and to get on a bodybuilding stage. Most of those just waited. Um, Many of those competitors have qualified for a national level stage and just didn't get on it because they still weren't ready. They were second in their class or they didn't win an overall. To them, it wasn't worth the time of prepping or the money spent. Um, Stepping on a national level stage is much more expensive, just the entry fee alone. Majority of you all are going to have to travel and fly. Um, I was very lucky in the fact that I lived on the East Coast and I could travel to most of the options. And I never did USA's because it was in Vegas and I couldn't afford the flight, honestly. So, um, I think going into it with the expectation that you're gonna bring your best ever physique is appropriate. Going in with the expectation that you're gonna win your card on your first pro qualifying stage could dampen the experience that you have. You could still bring your best physique, you could have the best showing of your life, and if you don't get that card, and you were expecting it, then it's like you had a bad weekend. And yes,
It's
everyone wants to win, but you can go into it with realistic expectations too.
yeah, like if it's your first time, second time, and you didn't win, like, girl, relax. It's like, relax. Something that I have noticed, I've been posing newer athletes this season. And whenever they ask me, like, how long did it take you? And I tell them I didn't get it till my fifth try, their brains always break.
And that's
I'm like,
actually
oh,
fast.
you thought it was gonna be easy?
I think it was my 5th as well.
Was it? I thought it was your fourth.
I did Junior USA Universe, Junior Nationals Universe, Junior Nationals, so 5, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah. So we're both of us. It took us 5 tries.
And that was
Five.
fast. That was with minimal off seasons in between, um, very good genetics for growing, especially around our crap work schedules that we had at the time,
Yeah.
um, and that's quick. So, to think I don't know, to have that expectation can let yourself down even in a situation where you should be, like, ecstatic with 3rd
Yeah.
place.
And I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, where are they even getting that from? Because it's not something that happens often within the NPC anyway. I'm just like,
No,
where did that come
I
from?
think those are the stories that are highlighted, like,
Okay.
so and so just won their pro card, it's their 2nd season, um, and then that tends to be what is, like if it's a good story, that's what catches attention on Instagram, and
Mhm.
everyone right now is a bodybuilder because of Instagram. Actually, Phil Heath just, like, did an interview the other day, and it's been clips have been posted, but he made a comment about, um, if social media didn't exist, you'd see a much different turnout at shows.
Mhm.
You'd probably see, in my opinion, a more competitive turnout because you'd have maybe less competitors, but more impressive physiques that took much more time, that enjoy the sport itself, much less clout competitors on stage, whatever. Um, he said the real champions would get their flowers, is what he said.
That's decent.
Um,
They always do.
yeah, and I think really that's still true. Um, and then you have the other side of the sport that's dampened by crap talkers or people who think that there are politics, and let's squash that too. There's no politics in the especially the NPC level.
It's like, no. Like y'all, like NPC, y'all are the money making machine, okay? It's just kind of like, no, they want everybody. Come on, like they don't know you, they're not thinking about you, like you haven't even done this long, and I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, like there have just been so many things this week that I've seen on Instagram in regards to bodybuilding that have just like gotten on my nerves so bad. That was definitely one of them. I saw that the other day. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, even to the point where, like, 1, I was consistently top 5 at all of the national shows that I did, um, and I was nobody. I didn't have any sponsors, I didn't have a big name coach. I lived in one of the smallest bodybuilding states in America, like, there was not a huge social circle when it came to that. I didn't even know names of who big name coaches were. Like, once I started making friends and they're like, "Well, so and so is coached by this person," I didn't know who that was, what their track record was, like, no information. Um,
well, then I'll do you on the opposite side. I was on a team that's a big name team, and that did not help me. Like I was on one.
yeah, I
Didn't
mean,
help me.
Amber's first show, she didn't even send check-ins to her coach, y'all. She sent her weight.
Yeah, and I got third place. I got third place in my first
Nobody
meet.
knew what was happening
Nobody knew what was
for
happening.
that first prep.
Nobody knew that for like no. So I'm just kind of like
Yeah,
didn't have anybody around me like locally. Like there were a couple of people, but like it was just me and Alexis in my
no,
world.
actually, that story is an even better example of what the heck is politics at this friggin' level. Amber did her show, did not have a namely coach, didn't know how the heck what the heck was going on. After that first show, Amber texts me like, "What are
Mhm.
these pictures that you post all the time?" Because she didn't know what a check-in was, because she didn't take check-ins because that's not even how her coach coached. Gets 3rd place, not even national level qualified. Then COVID happens the next year, and they were like, "Well, there's no shows that have happened, so nobody's qualified to do these national level shows. So instead of top 2, if you placed top 5 last year, you can get on stage." So Amber's like, "Hey, Alexis, I'm gonna do Junior USA with you." And I'm like, "Cool." And then
That's
would we both get 2nd?
I think you got second, I got third.
Yeah.
Not knowing. And then to make matters worse, so the day before they told us what time to get there. She said, "Okay, be here at like 10:30." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So Murillo drops me off. I'm waltzing in at 9:45. They look at me, "You're class H, you're on stage right now." And I was like, "What?" So they take me to the back. Someone yanks my pants off. They're digging through my bag, put my shoes on, glaze my body, and push me on stage. No pump up. No, I don't know what's going on. And we got third place.
Yeah. That same show, Wellness went before Bikini no, Wellness went after Bikini, and it's in Charleston, and that's at the beach, and it rains every day at the beach at some point in the day. So when it's our pump up room was separate from the theater. You had to walk, like, across some sidewalk, and then it's raining. So they walk us outside, and it just starts downpouring as we go. So we're all like, nobody's about to walk out in the rain because we're all tan and we need to immediately get on stage. Like we have our heels on, we've already pumped up, we need to go. So they're like trying to figure out a solution because we need to get from here to here without getting wet. And I had an umbrella in my suitcase. So I pull the umbrella out, and then the expediters take us one at a time across, like with the umbrella. The only way that politics would have helped me during that was to get my umbrella back because I never got it back. It wouldn't help me on stage. It wasn't gonna help me with my placing. Nobody even knew what wellness was then. That was the first na qualifying show to turn pro in the US, outside of the Arnold. So, like, when I turned pro, I think I had almost 10,000 followers. I think turning pro pushed me over that. Um, and you know that that is nothing. Like, it was a lot as an amateur, but it wasn't like nothing got me that. Um, and then again, no name, go straight into my pro debut, get 3rd. Nothing got me that. You just gotta go in and find out. Um,
I think it's interesting to me the people who are screaming politics, they're not even a part of the conversation. You're not even a topic. No one knows who you are. And I'm like, that's interesting. Like no one's talking about you, babe.
and ultimately, like, so my background's in pageants, and politics absolutely play a role in that. And I think maybe that's also why I think it's funny because pageants, a lot of judging for what comes together as the whole score happens off stage. So, like,
Hmm.
there's a whole interview where you're in a room completely by yourself and you have 0 idea what happened with any other person.
Yeah.
And that plays into a good account of that score that gives you the winning crown. Um, Bodybuilding, everything happens on stage in front of everyone. Um, so while it's subjective, there are very few times when, and like the judges are human, can they make mistakes? Absolutely. But there are very few times when you look at a lineup and 2nd and 3rd place are spectacularly better than the winner.
Yeah. I
You
think
might think they should have won, and that's completely fine because it's subjective,
yeah,
but it can be argued either way.
100%. I would say at this level NPC, you got a better chance of the judging just being a little bit wonky than politics ever being the reason as to why.
Yeah, and that's why you will see competitors go from show to show, even at regional level shows, to get feedback from different judges.
Mhm.
Um, Do I think it's a good idea to do like what Lindsay just did and did the Sydney Gillen Peach Classic right before going into Universe? She's already qualified, but she wanted to get in front of a national level of judging panel. So, like, she knew that Tyler was gonna be one of the judges, that like, they'd advertised that. So,
Strategy.
yes, that is beneficial to get feedback from them, knowing that you're gonna be standing in front of them in just a couple of weeks and what they're looking for. Um, Same thing with I have most of my girls that I coach do shows that are local to them. 1, to save on funds as far as traveling, but 2, even if we're not planning a national level show this season, that's a similar judging panel that you're gonna get next season when we're doing a warm up to go into that national level show.
Yeah.
Um,
Girl, let's see if you even like it. Like, don't be traveling somewhere
yeah,
far and you don't even know if you like it for real.
yeah, and there's also a whole, um algorithm basically to prevent the politic thing from happening. So
Mhm.
yes, it's a small community. Everyone knows a lot of people within it. The longer that you're in it, the more people that you know or acquaintances with, or you know someone who knows the judge or whatever. There's still 5 to 7 people at the table. The highest and the lowest numbers get dropped.
Mhm.
So it and then the others get brought together to make the order. So not one judge says so and so wins, so and so second, so and so's third. It's averaged. And then the outliers of highest and lowest are then excreted to prevent any lowballing or artificially scoring someone higher than what they should be. So girlfriend, if you're 10th, you weren't winning.
Y- You weren't part of the conversation. If you were not in first call out top 5, you weren't like you weren't part of the conversation, and that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
and,
It
like,
happens.
you guys have heard me say before, sometimes 2nd place is suckier than 10th place because it comes down to
Oh crap.
deciding, like,
Mhm.
someone has to win, someone has to lose, and 2nd is first loser is what a lot of people say.
Yeah, because
So
like
it's
if
like,
you're
"What made me lose against that other person?" Y'all know I've been 2nd a hot number of times.
yeah, it's easier to conceptualize when you're 10th. It's like, okay, I'm further off.
Yeah,
Cool. I can wrap my head around that. But when you're right there and you keep being right there and it's just like bam, bam, bam over and over, that is way harder to be because I feel like when you are right there and you keep getting second, it's not even necessarily sometimes something that you might need to change. It just might be that person maybe was just 1% better. Doesn't mean that you're trash. They just were
yeah,
1% better.
yeah, and, if that is you and you get this, much lesser placing than what you were hoping, where you thought you could at least be first call out, or you could at least place in the first through 15th are placed. Everyone else after 15th place is labeled as 16th place.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe your goal is just to place in that first national level show. And you don't get that. So let's look at the drawing board and see like things that can be fixed within the same prep
Mhm.
are, did you just completely miss your peak and do you know what you missed? Um, do you need to be leaner and there's a show in 6 weeks and you can make it happen? Is your body still responding? If no, if you need more muscle, you're not doing it in 6 weeks. Um, if you think you missed your peak, but you don't know what it was, you probably can't figure it out in 6 weeks.
No.
um,
Something was your posing terrible? Were you
yeah,
nervous? Did you just not display your physique properly?
you
That
probably can do
happens.
that in 6 weeks. You can't do it in a week and a half.
No.
Exactly why from girl power, we didn't go to St. Louis. It was like, well, something's off here and we can't fix it in 5 days. You know, like, could I have gone and done that? Sure. We already had the flight and everything booked, but did it make a whole lot of sense to do it? No, it would have been a waste of time. I wasn't going to walk away with the trophy. And at that point, the goal was to walk away with the trophy. So, like, let's regame plan. You have to also have the ability to do that, or if you can't, you're blinded because you're still chasing it in your mindset. Listen, you have to have the ability to listen to someone else when they say, like, it's time to pull back and regame plan. Um, Now, if it's your 5th or 7th or 10th season preparing and getting on national level stages, um, you probably have a higher expectation of yourself to at least improve from whatever you've done in the past, whatever your last placing was. Um, Much higher hopes. A lot of people get into, I've been doing this longer, so I deserve it. Um, that don't count. They don't care what you've been doing outside of how you look on that day,
I
on that stage
found
at that time.
I have found, especially within the pro bikini market, when I tell you some of the most self entitled human beings on the face of the earth, these girls, they feel because they've been doing it for so long that they should be. And I'm just kind of like, that has nothing to do with it. It's just like you're arrogant and you're prideful and you can't see. And he's like, you're saying all these things about these newer girls. I'm like, well, they coming up here and whooping your butt because they're better than you.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes down to, do you have the mindset of make changes?
Yes.
Like, the sport is ever evolving, your physique is ever evolving, and
Gotta
if
pay
what you're
attention.
doing is not working, it's not just gonna magically work.
And I
Yes,
think
you
that
have to
goes
keep
for,
going and keep doing what you're doing, and a lot of it is monotony, but there's also pivot and turn.
that's something you have to be careful about when you are a seasoned athlete, regardless if you're an amateur or pro. It is easy to get stuck in what you know, what you've been doing. But if you don't have the eyes to see, if you're not paying attention to like what's going on around you, you're going to continue to keep missing the mark. Like you have to pay attention. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to agree with everything, but you still got to like listen, keep one ear to the streets at all times.
Yeah, so I would say, maybe for a brand new person starting the circuit, this is your first season, going into junior nationals first, um, you get a little lesser than you wanted, 7th something, barely outside of first call out, and there seems like there's adjustable things. Sure, go and do universe, or pull back a little bit, make the improvements, go and do USAs. Um, if you are last call out, it doesn't make sense to spend the money. Um, if you then go and do the second show and get similar placing, now you've done 3 national level shows this season, um, consistency within your placing, then at least you know you have a consistent peaking mechanism, you have a consistent idea of where you sit, and then you have to just look at it objectively and be like, "Where can I improve? What's falling short?" Um, I can say it's very, very easy to get those blinders and to say, "No, I'm gonna keep going," and sometimes you have to learn the hard way like I did, and, push into another show when everyone says no, and then drop a placing and be like, "Okay," like, we do need to pump the brakes a little bit,
That's so
but
that's what I love about us. Like we're so opposite in that aspect. Alexis is gonna be like, keep going, keep pushing. And we're like, no. Meanwhile, I'm just like, you know what? It's over. It's done. You're like, keep going. I love that.
and it just comes to, like, your mindset, but also making sure that you have people in your corner that can fact check you,
Yeah,
because
that's
'cause we've
exactly.
needed it in both ways. I've needed to be my brakes pumped for me, and Amber's we're just, like, pouring gas in the tank when it's empty, and she's, like, closing the tank door. Like,
Yup, 100%. I want to say this for the girlies now who are, girl, maybe it's your fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth show, like Alexis said, and you do have higher hopes, higher expectations. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Of course, at this point, if you keep doing it, it means that you like it and it means that you want to win. We know that we can only control what we can control. And that's the hard part about it. We can easily get stuck in our heads And we can become just self-entitled. Well, I've been doing this for this long. Well, I know. Or, well, this girl hasn't been doing it for that long. And it's like, okay, while those things may be true, at the end of the day, the judges saw what they saw. And we have to learn to take whatever that is and not be a piss about it. Because for us who have been doing it a little bit longer, whenever we don't get the result that we want, we can be a little bit more pissier. We can. Like, I'm not going to hold you. I've been there. But because you've been doing it longer, although they haven't, given you the pro card physically yet, but because you've been doing it longer mentally, you were already a pro. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Some of the most difficult glam services I have, and not because the glam service is hard to sell, it's with an athlete who turned pro quick and they're doing their pro debut. Those are always tough because their minds, like, they don't know anything. They know nothing. So while if you do this show and you do not get the result that you want, I need for you to maintain good sportsmanship. I need for you to not get on social media and start going crazy. Like, send it to your homie. Don't post anything on your close friends. Like don't do any of that. Please.
Do it in a hotel room, in the car,
Yes.
nothing documenting it until
Yes.
you've cooled off. Some people need to say whatever their negative experience was and all that. Um,
No paper
but
trail.
don't do it in the heat of the moment because you're usually going to regret it.
Mhm.
Um,
I know I can say whatever I want to say to Alexis. She's not going to judge me. She ain't going to tell nobody. But if I start getting too crazy and days are going by, she's going to be like, hey, come back. Come
yeah,
back to the
and
other
there
side.
was something I was going to say. Um, I lost it. Shoot, it was good advice and I forget what it was.
Oh, come on.
Um,
What was it, Bonnie?
See,
You
I've been
can't.
a needy girl.
It's okay. Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes it be like that.
You
And then
listening to
I'll say this for the girls who, like, let's say if you did junior USAs and you were right there. What was that? 4 weeks in between, 3 or 4 weeks in between. Now you're getting ready to junior Nats, and maybe it still didn't happen and it's right there. Now what you're going to run into is, what's your mental state like? And this is where it's important to have a good circle, because if you are right there, if the finances are in alignment, if it's a small tweak, if you feel like you can do universe, and when I say right there, I'm talking girls who are like top three. Like, if you've been like top three for those two shows and it still didn't happen, then you have to check your mental and your emotional to make sure that you're in a good place. Because I think sometimes what we fail to realize is you might be right there. Maybe your physique is good, but if you are not in a good place mentally, that can impact your physique. So you got to check all of those things.
yeah, it can be exhausting to prep and then more exhausting to keep barely missing it.
Mhm.
Um, and pushing is not going to work if you're not actually ready to keep pushing. Especially if it's like you need to be leaner or um, maybe you've done 3 shows and you missed every peak and you're questioning the coaching situation. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is not an overnight fix. Um,
But a lot of you have probably been in prep easily since February, March.
yeah.
Easily.
So yes, there's a circuit, but there's got to be a cutoff point. Because let's say you started prep right after Christmas is what a lot of people do to start going into Junior USA. And then now we've got weird amounts of gaps.
Mhm.
You got what, 4-ish weeks to junior nationals, 2 weeks to universe. Then there's usually like 4 or 6 weeks to USA.
Yeah.
If you're masters, you've got masters nationals mixed in there.
Mhm.
Um, and then from USA for the open competitors, you got a big gap until you get to North Americans.
That's a stretch. You gotta
And then
you
another
gotta
big gap to nationals in December.
yeah.
So that's where strategy has to come in at some point. Um, there every season there's a good competitor that tries to push all the way through all of them. Um, and 99.999% of the time they look like garbage by the time they get to the December show.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Just
if the body's not going to hang on that long to stay lean for that long. Um, Even with 6 to 8 weeks in between, there's not much time to push body fat up to bring it back down. Um, with no guarantee that your body's going to let you bring it back off that quickly. Um, so just if you're going into it for the first time, see what you get and then make a plan.
mhm.
Um, and let's not plan anything further until you actually get the card.
Yeah, yeah. Good word, good word. That's all I got. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I need to do things to get ready for
That's right, you gotta go.
Saturday shenanigans. I got a competitor who's competing in wellness at this show, so I'll get to see her in person. She'll get into town here later this afternoon, and I'll go see her and pose her in person. Final little touch ups. Need to take Tan over because our friend Alex is competing in this show,
Oh,
Morgan's husband.
oh, yay!
So need to take him Tan because he is the same color as Martin, and they need to start that this evening.
Mm.
And figure out if I have to do any tasks at the show because I tend to be asked Saturday morning. And
I'm sure. I'm sure. There's always a task. As always. Your posing schedule open?
posing is open for June. I will work on July here soon. I've been waiting to see what all of the travel things are, um, so that I'm not having to move people around constantly. Still taking coaching clients, lifestyle, um, bikini wellness, fit model, and that's all of the posing I do too. So no, I don't teach figure. Um, and I think that's my church announcements.
Um, Let me see. I will not be at Junior Nats. I know a lot of y'all are really upset with me about that. Sorry, love you, but no, won't be there. I will be at Universe, Bikini Wellness Fit Model Day, already booked. I think I have like maybe one or two more spots. I know I'm coming close to the cutoff for the day before, which is figure women's physique. So if you have any figure women's physique friends, let them know. And then after that, I don't go anywhere for a really long time. I think it's just, yeah, it's North American Championship, and a lot of you have already started booking for that. Um, I will say this: if you are someone who is thinking about doing North American Championship, please understand, if you probably wait until a week after Universe, it won't be there. Because those girls are going to compete and they're going to make their game plan. And if they know they're going to do it, they will go ahead and book. I do have, because I won't be at Masters Nationals this year, which that's one of my favorite shows, by the way. I really enjoy that show. However, I do have a stage plan webinar coming up. It's going to be on Sunday, June 28th, where it's DIY. So I am like teaching you how to do your makeup, and it's geared towards makeup for Masters because that is a little bit of a different situation. And yep, that's all I got.
And take that class because I did my own makeup for Arnold UK,
You did so
but
good.
only with Amber's class.
She did good. She did good. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. And if there's anything particular you want us to talk about, please DM the Girl Gangs Podcast Instagram. Don't DM our personal Instagrams because it'll get lost. We'll chat with y'all next week.
Bye, guys.